Hey everybody, what is going on? My name is Anthony. This is the VR Game Rankings YouTube channel, and you know what? It has been a while. Where have I been? What is going on? Well, guess what? I am back. I'm sorry for the extended layoff there, but you know, part of the reason that I haven't been on this show or part of the reason I haven't posted a video in quite some time is if you look at my left eye here, kind of looks like I got a black eye. Well, actually, it is not a black eye. I was not in a barroom brawl or anything like that. I did not take a header while wearing my Oculus Rift. No kind of accident like that. I wasn't mugged. What happened was I had a little minor procedure that was done on my left eyelid. Just a precautionary thing. No big worries there, but it kind of left me with basically a black eye. And so, you know, I'm kind of waiting for it to heal. It still hasn't healed up 100%, but you know what? It's just been too long. I got to get back in here and I got to bang out a video. And so that's what I'm doing today. And this particular video, I'm not going to be getting into E3 news. I will have a video coming up in a little bit where I'll get into those kinds of topics. More of kind of the state of VR post E3 is kind of what I want to do on the next video. But this video here, I thought it would be fun to just kind of do a top 10 ranking video. And this is for my personal most wanted VR game list. This is not VR game rankings. This is not your submissions of what you feel are the most wanted games out there. This is my own personal list. These are the games that I am jonesing for more than any other games out there. And what I did was I put 10 games down in order of least wanted to most wanted. So we're going to go 10, 9, 8, 7, kind of like that. And we will get to the number one game and we're just going to kind of go through it. Some of them are E3 related because we got a lot more information at E3. Some of them really don't have much to do with E3 whatsoever, but thought it would still be kind of cool to go ahead and do this. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. So let's go ahead and start off with number 10. And the number 10 game on my list is Marvel Powers United VR. So this game is coming to us from SANZARU Games, and this is an Oculus exclusive for the Oculus Rift. It's funny that this game is number 10 on my list because I can remember maybe like a year ago, I'm not sure exactly how long it was, but this was supposed to be a really big game. I mean, this is Marvel. Marvel is all the rage. Every movie that Marvel comes out with, every Marvel TV show, it's just such a big deal. You know, so many people are so into it. And so the idea of a Marvel VR game that kind of shows you what you can do with the powers of these superheroes and kind of placing you in the shoes of these different superheroes, giving you these different superpowers. And then on top of that, it is developed by SANZARU Games, and this is a high-quality developer here. These are the guys, I believe they made the old Sly Cooper games way back in the days, and SANZARU Games, they have made a couple of different VR games. They made Ripcoil for Oculus, which is a very popular game, was free for a long time, well, free with any kind of purchase that you would make on the Oculus Store. I'm not sure if that's still running anymore. I think that has ended at this point in time. They're also the developer of VR Sports Challenge, which I actually think is a really damn good game. I enjoy VR Sports Challenge. There's basketball, there's football, there's hockey, and there's even like a home run derby as well. And it's just kind of a cool little mini game collection, but I thought it was pretty good, especially the basketball part. I really like the basketball part. And what they're doing with Marvel Powers United VR, well, they are actually the beneficiaries of being able to use the Robo Recall game engine. Yeah, Epic Games made Robo Recall for Oculus. Oculus, I'm sure, paid them a pretty hefty sum of money for that. And I think part of the deal is that Oculus said, hey, look, we're going to take this game engine and we might give it to some of our other developers and let them create something off of this. and kind of use it as the backbone for different games. And that's what Marvel Powers United VR is all about. So it's kind of that Robo Recall engine, but it's got a Marvel skin on it. But it's not just that, it's a bit more than that. It's a little bit deeper than that. And if there's really any question about Marvel Powers United VR, the question is what's going on with this game? Because we haven't heard anything about it. It's been radio silent as far as I'm aware, but we have seen some different videos of Marvel characters like Thor and other different characters that have been added to this game. And, you know, I'm still excited for it. And I'm really hoping that we get an announcement in the very near term and we get a release date for this game. And this game is going to hit pretty soon. You got to hope. So that is my number 10 game, Marvel Powers United VR. Okay, so let's go to my number 9 game. My number 9 game is Contagion VR Outbreak. And so Contagion has actually been in the news recently because I believe this game is going to release in early access. I'm not sure. I think it's June 29th. Yeah, I believe June 29th. It is going to release in early access one day after Space Junkies enters open beta. That's how I remember the date there. And, you know, the thing about Contagion VR Outbreak, it was this amazing demo. A lot of us have tried this demo. And one of the coolest things about Contagion is the fact that this is another zombie game. It's a zombie outbreak, but they're kind of covering it in a completely different way. Most of the time, when you get into one of these zombie situations, whatever happened has already happened. The shit has already hit the fan, and then you're dropped in there and you're dealing with the aftermath. This one is a little bit different. You're actually kind of experiencing a zombie outbreak as it's taking place live in real time. And it's an interesting way in how they do it. Anybody that has tried the demo, you're in this apartment, you know, you turn on the TV, there's news reports, you start to hear crazy noises outside, all hell breaks loose. It is really cool. And one of the coolest things about this Contagion VR Outbreak demo is in the very beginning of the demo, you kind of get a look at the outside area out on the street. And there's something about that vibe. It is so cool. I really like it. You don't actually get to explore the outside in the demo, but the way I understand it is when we get this early access version on June 29th, you will actually be able to get to the outside. So that's going to be really cool. Now, it is going to be early access on June 29th. It's not going to be a completed game, but according to the developer who recently had an AMA just the other day, apparently there is maybe 3 times as much content as the demo, maybe 5 times as much content as the demo. So there will be a hefty chunk of game there to work with in the early access version, and I am very excited about this. And there's actually some additional good news as well. This game is going to eventually hit PlayStation VR. Now, it's not coming to PlayStation VR on June 29th. It is going to come quite a bit later, but hopefully later this year, PlayStation VR players will get their hands on the game as well. Okay, so now I'm going to go to number 8. And number 8, you know, I talked about my eye and I talked about Creed Rise to Glory. I did not play that game and take a sharp right cut to my left eye there. But you know what? Creed Rise to Glory is my 8th most wanted game. This is a game I'm really looking forward to, and I'm kind of surprised that I ended up putting this game on this list. And as high as it is, you know, sports games, I kind of like sports games a little bit here and there. I'm a big fan of 2MD VR football. I've talked about that quite a bit. I even like, well, it was called Virtual Reality Football Club, but they changed the name. And so I'm okay with sports games, but it's not really my thing. But the thing about Creed Rise to Glory is that everybody that seems to demo this game, whether they had any interest in a boxing game whatsoever, they seem to come away thinking this is a really good game. And so that really has a lot to do with my excitement for Creed Rise to Glory. So I definitely have some excitement there. Let's go ahead and jump to number 7. And number 7 on my list is Blood and Truth. Now, this is coming to PlayStation VR. This is a PlayStation VR exclusive. It is from London Studio. This is probably one of Sony's highest tier developers. These guys are really good developers, really high quality developers, and you might know their work if you played PlayStation VR Worlds, because in PlayStation VR Worlds, London Studio was responsible for London Heist, which I think is still to this day maybe one of the most powerful demonstrations of what VR technology is capable of, because I'm telling you, if you guys play London Heist, especially when you're in that van and you're driving along and you're driving down a freeway and you have a gun battle that takes place right there, that is really intense. It really feels like you have been dropped in the middle of an action adventure movie. And London Heist, you know, absolutely spectacular. Some of the best stuff that I've seen in VR to date, and that includes all platforms, Rift and Vive included. Rift and Vive players are really missing out if they've never tried London Heist. And basically, Blood and Truth, this is kind of London Studio getting an opportunity to take what they did in London Heist and make an entire game of it, you know, make a full feature game out of this. Now, on the downside, I actually was a lot more hyped for this game, Blood and Truth, and would have had it a lot higher up my chart. I have it here at number 7, but I probably would have had it in my top 3 or maybe top 4. But there were some people that got some hands-on time with it and they came away a little bit disappointed. So that did kind of cool my heels a little bit, but I'm still very excited. This is a prime time PSVR game. We don't have an exact date for this, but we are hoping that it is a fall 2018 release. So that is Blood and Truth for PlayStation VR. So let's go ahead and go to number 6. And number 6, this is kind of an oddball choice right here. I am going with Half-Life 2 VR mod. And you might say, Half-Life 2 VR mod, what are you talking about? Well, basically, there is a team, the Half-Life 2 VR mod team. They've been working on this Half-Life 2 VR mod for a number of years now. And this was supposed to be released quite some time ago. I think they did a Steam Greenlight. It was accepted on Steam Greenlight. We had a Steam Greenlight trailer for this, but we just haven't heard anything about it. We don't know what's going on with it, but we're still super excited for this. I'm the type of gamer, personally, I've said this a number of times, give us some old classics, but convert them to VR and make them really awesome. And Half-Life 2 is a great opportunity to do that. I can tell you that when Half-Life 2 originally came out, I was more of a console player at that point in time. I did not have a good computer, so I didn't play Half-Life 2 back then. And then I did get the orange box on the Xbox 360, and I started playing Half-Life 2 on my Xbox 360, and I got pretty far through the game, but I never completed it 100%. So this is one of these experiences where I think VR is absolutely perfect, especially for me, because it's an opportunity for me to get back in the game and go through the whole entire game and experience it in a brand new way. You know, City 17, just the whole concept of Half-Life 2, like that very beginning, the opening sequence, I just think that would be so awesome to experience in VR. And, you know, we haven't heard anything about this. And if there's any worry, really, the worry is that maybe Valve could possibly have some type of Half-Life 2 VR related thing of their own. And, you know, could that be a possibility why this is being delayed? I don't know. That's, you know, pure speculation on my part, but I'm still very excited for this. And I hope it is just around the corner. That would be super awesome. Really looking forward to the Half-Life 2 VR mod. Okay, let's go ahead and get to number 5. Now I am in my top 5. These are my top 5 bangers. And you know what? At number 5, we are going to start it off with Star Child. Now, Star Child is a PlayStation VR exclusive, at least in the beginning. This is coming to us from Playful Corp. These are the guys that made Lucky's Tale. They also, of course, made Super Lucky's Tale. pancake style for the Xbox, you know, moonlighting a little bit, getting a little bit of extra money there from Microsoft. And hopefully they took all that extra money and poured it into Star Child. Get back into VR. That is what we're all about here. And, you know, Game Trust, I believe, is handling the publishing duties for this game. Now, we don't have a date on it. And some people might look at Star Child and they might say, hey, this is just a side-scrolling platformer. It's kind of on rails. You're basically like on this track, and all you're doing is controlling, you know, where you're moving, whether you're running or kind of walking along, whether you're jumping, whether you're doing a double jump or whatever it may be. But I don't know, there's something about this game that really speaks to me. I played the demo on the Sony Demo Disc 2, and, you know, everybody was raving about Moss on that demo disc, and I liked Moss just like everybody else, but it was really Star Child. That was the one that spoke to me. I am a big fan of Playful Corp. I think they have major skills in this area, and I really want to see what they're going to do with this full feature game coming to PlayStation VR. Super excited about it, and I have every right to believe that eventually this will also hit PC VR platforms a little bit later on down the road, maybe a 90-day delay, maybe 6-month delay, but I do believe it will hit PC VR platforms, much in the same way that Moss made it over kind of surprisingly a lot sooner than probably a lot of us would have imagined. Okay, number 4, Defector. And Defector is coming to us from TwistedPixel. These guys, of course, made Wilson's Heart. This is their second crack at a VR game, another Oculus Rift exclusive. Looks really, really good. I got to admit, though, I am not a huge fan of like spy type stuff, not really into the whole James Bond thing as much as maybe most people are. But I do believe that this is going to be one of the more AAA VR games that we're going to get over the next 6 to 8 months. And so I am excited for it from that standpoint. And, you know, there's a lot of lavish production values that are going on here. It's pretty creative how they're using dialogue choices, and this kind of interplay with characters looks really good. The action looks pretty good. A lot of things that you can manipulate with your hands, and just crazy production values, a lot of polish and shine on this game. So I'm really looking forward to Defector. It is coming later this year. Definitely excited about that at number 4. Now we get to number 3, and number 3 is Astrobot. Now this is coming to us from Japan Studio. This, of course, is something that I was dreaming about, something that I was asking for way back in late 2016 when I first played the Playroom VR and I played Robots Rescue, one of my favorite VR games, period. Even though it's like a 10-12 minute demo, not much of a real game there, but oh my goodness, this experience was just absolutely awesome. The thing that I really loved about what Japan Studio did with this game is they have this tracked DualShock 4 controller, and I think they took more advantage of this tracked controller than any other developer that has done it up to this point, and that includes Polyarc with Moss. Polyarc obviously was paying very close attention to what Japan Studio did in Robots Rescue, and they did very well in taking advantage of that tracked DualShock 4 controller, but I really feel like Japan Studio did it even better, and this is their opportunity. They've been let out of jail. They can make a full feature game. This is supposedly going to last like 8 hours. I mean, 8 hours of Robots Rescue. How awesome would that be? All kinds of different worlds and different backgrounds to have your little robot guy running around collecting coins, saving his robot buddies. Looks absolutely awesome. The graphics are incredibly colorful. Looks absolutely adorable. I mean, you know, I gotta say that sometimes we play so many of these realistic games with all these brown tones and realistic visuals. Sometimes it's fun to get back to blue sunny skies and just everything is so incredibly colorful and the game world is just completely surrounding you and you have this adorable little character that you have to guide through all kinds of traps and pitfalls and try to help him rescue his little robot buddies. I am definitely super excited for Astrobot Rescue Mission. And the good news is this game is coming later this year. So we are going to get it in fall 2018. So all PlayStation VR fans, you have got to be jazzed about this one. And this is one of those games where if you don't have a PlayStation VR, you might want to actually consider picking one up, because this is the type of stuff that we're just not going to get on the Oculus Rift or the HTC Vive. That's the thing about PlayStation VR. They've got some powerful exclusives, makes it very hard to avoid getting your hands on a PlayStation VR system. Okay, let's go to my number 2 most wanted game period, and this is Transference. And so this one has jumped all the way up to number 2 on my chart, and the reason for this is very simple. That new trailer that came out at E3, I personally think this game looks absolutely awesome. This looks like a horror thriller game. It looks definitely AAA. We're talking about Spectre Vision, which is this new company that Elijah Woods is heading up. A lot of Hollywood luminaries got together. They kind of see where the potential is with virtual reality and augmented reality, and they decided to form this new company, Spectre Vision, so they could push the boundaries and kind of add a little bit of Hollywood to VR and AR. And this is their first game, Transference, and it's in collaboration with Ubisoft. It looks like a really high-end game. Now, originally we were supposed to get this game spring of 2018. Of course, we did find out at E3 that this is going to be a fall 2018 game, so we're probably not going to get this till around November. But I got to tell you, this one is super interesting, and I'm really excited for it. I really like the style, the visual look of it. It looks very creative. Now, it is a bit of a horror game, and if there's any kind of a downside here, you got to wonder, because I would say maybe 25% of the VR population, they just don't want to play horror games. It's just a little bit too real. It freaks them out a little bit too much. It's just a little bit too intense. And so you got to hope that some of these people, get it together when Transference arrives, because I really want everybody to pick this game up, because I would love to have a lot more of these experiences. Obviously, we're hoping that the game is really good and worth picking up, but looks pretty damn awesome. I'm excited for this. This is coming later this year. Really looking forward to it. That is Transference at number 2. So we have now made it to my number 1 most wanted game, and of course we've gone through all these games, and what really huge game have I not mentioned so far? And that of course is Stormland, which is coming to the Oculus Rift in 2019. This is coming to us from Insomniac Games, and what an ideal company to possibly bring us the most AAA VR game we've seen so far. And that's kind of what this looks like. I mean, Insomniac Games, these guys have already made Feral Rights. They've already made Edge of Nowhere. They've already made The Unspoken. These guys have a lot of experience banging out VR games, and now they're working on possibly one of the biggest VR games we've seen up to this point. This is a really huge one. We don't have a lot of huge AAA games coming to VR, at least so far on the horizon. We haven't seen that many. But this is one of the biggies, if not the absolute biggest. And that's part of the reason I'm so excited about this. But also, we're talking about you're on this alien world. It looks like there's deserts and all kinds of different environments, jungles. You got overcast, rain, storming. You're flying above clouds. You can hover. You got hover capabilities. You can zoom in. You're engaging in combat with all these evil military style robots. You've got your own little robot friends that you're trying to rescue, and it kind of seems like when you save one of these other robots, you might take on their form as well, or it almost looks like you're taking on their perspective, or who knows, maybe it even has multiplayer. Not sure yet. It does look to be kind of an open world where you can kind of explore and go anywhere. And I gotta tell you, one of my favorite things about VR period There's just nothing I like more than being placed in an alien world, having it completely surround me, and being able to explore every nook and cranny, and just incredible graphics, incredible sound, lavish production value. That is what Insomniac Games is all about. And it looks like they're taking their time with this one. This one is the big one. This is probably, they've probably been working on this game quite some time in secret. They may have been working on this even when they were still working on the Unspoken. And so I really feel like Stormland is going to be a powerful game when it comes out in 2019. If there's any real downside when it comes to Stormland, it's probably that we're not going to see it until maybe November of 2019. But, you know, Jason Rubin, a number of people have said that they believe this is the kind of game that could actually motivate somebody that doesn't have VR to go out of their way and grab themselves an Oculus Rift, build themselves a high-end gaming PC just so they can experience something like this at its ultimate level. And that's why I'm so excited and so thrilled for Stormland. Now, this is an Oculus Rift exclusive, and, you know, I gotta say, I'm not really a fan of these exclusives. I do understand them, though. I understand the business idea here. I know what Oculus is doing. I mean, these guys have spent $2 billion. Of course, I'm talking about Facebook. Facebook spent $2 billion on Oculus. They're going to try to protect their investment. They want to try to create their own little platform. And you know what? I can't really blame them. I mean, it's not really consumer friendly, you know, when you get down to the brass tacks of it. But at the same time, I understand what they're doing. Oculus is doing a lot for VR. Love them or hate them, they are doing a lot to promote VR. I mean, if we didn't have Oculus, where would we be right now? If we didn't have Facebook with their war chest of money, where exactly would we be right now? VR would be another 4 years back behind where it is. We've advanced this much because of Facebook and their huge war chest of money. So despite all of the political concerns and all of that, I'm still super excited for Stormland and can't wait until November 2019, probably when this game will finally hit us. But it looks super good. So anyway, guys, that is my top 10 most wanted VR games. These are the games that I'm jonesing for more than any other VR games out there. There's still a whole bunch of other games I'm super hyped for, but if I had to narrow it down to 10, these are the 10 bangers. I'll go ahead and run through them one more time real quick. So we had Marvel Powers United VR at number 10 from SANZARU Games. We've got Contagion VR Outbreak from Monochrome. We got Creed Rise to Glory from Servios. We've got Blood and Truth from London Studio at number 7. Number 6 is Half-Life 2 VR Mod. At number 5, we have Star Child. Number 4, Star Child from Playful. Number 4 is Defector from TwistedPixel, creators of Wilson's Heart. Number 3 is Astrobot Rescue Mission from Japan Studio for PlayStation VR. Number 2 is Transference, which looks super good. And of course, number 1 is Stormland. So that is my top 10. And that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this little video right here. And once again, I should be back and in the swing of things doing more news reports and that sort of thing. So stay tuned. Look forward to that in the coming days, hopefully not too long for my next video. All right, I'll see you guys then. Take it easy. Later.